Anna's project of Rome. Now we're going to head into Rome. You can see the Tiber River running through the city, and our first landmark is Hadrian's Wall, which is actually in the UK. Hadrian's Wall was built to separate the Romans from the barbarians, and it took 6 years to complete. Now we're going to go to the Baths of Caracalla, back in Rome. The Baths of Caracalla contains many famous mosaics and statues, and it also contains 4 levels and multiple Olympic-sized pools and baths. Next is the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, the best and the greatest. The Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus was the main temple or center of the Roman state cult, and it was on top of Capitoline Hill. Sadly, it is no longer standing. Next, we're going to go to the Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace was right next to the Circus Maximus, where the Emperor contemplates chariot races. The main booth for the Emperor is next to the Circus Maximus. Now we're going to go to the Circus Maximus. The Circus Maximus was where the Emperor would hold games and races, and it was also connected to the Imperial Palace itself. Now we're going to head over to Trajan's Column. Trajan's Column was built to commemorate Trajan's victory over the barbarians, and the story of his victory is carved into the column. Next is Trajan's Market. Trajan's Market has multiple levels, and it's the ancient Roman equivalent of a modern-day shopping mall. Now we're going to head on over to the Aqua Claudia. The Aqua Claudia brought water to Rome from 20 to 30 miles away, and it ended at fountains or public baths. Next is the Baths of Trajan. The Baths of Trajan were walled baths, and they were in a garden. They were the emperor's way of providing for the well-being of the city. Next is the Arch of Constantine. The Arch of Constantine commemorates Constantine's victory over Maxentius, and it depicts hunts and sacrificial ceremonies to the gods.
Our next stop is the Meta-Sudans. Meta-Sudans was a monumental fountain, and it marked the spot where the triumphal procession turned left onto the Via Triumphalis. For decoration. Next is the Arch of Septimus Severus. The Arch of Septimus Severus was built to celebrate the victories of the Romans over the Parthians. It stands on the Via Sacra in the Forum. Our next stop is the Pantheon. The Pantheon was a temple built to celebrate the Roman emperors. The proportions of the building correspond exactly to the limits of the human eye. Next is the Campus Martius, which is no longer standing. The Campus Martius was originally a training ground for the civilian army in the Roman Republic. After the Republic, it was drained and covered in baths, amphitheaters, theaters, gymnasiums, and many different temples. Now we're heading to the Forum. The Forum was the center of public life in Rome. It was used for public speeches, elections, triumphal processions, and criminal trials. Our next stop is the Basilica of Maxientus. The Basilica was the largest building in the Forum. It was a civic building that was used mainly for courts. Next, we're going to head to the Temple of Venus in Rome. The Temple of Venus in Rome was the biggest temple of the state religion. It was a double-sided temple, and the side facing the Colosseum was dedicated to Venus, and the other side was dedicated to Roma. Our last stop is the Colosseum. The Colosseum was built on top of a pond in the Great Palace of Nero by Vespasian. It is an amphitheater used to watch public executions, gladiatorial fights, and other forms of violent entertainment.